PKA 641 with our guest Ed Bolian from VinWiki.
I'm fascinated with the idea of like people. I don't know, people. This online boxing thing that people like it or that it somehow makes money. I'm always hesitant to believe things when people tell me this makes that much money or whatever, because I think it's like one of those rich people art scams, or it's like a mattress store. It's like a laundering thing. It's like, oh, you did how many pay-per-views? Really? Okay. I don't know. I'm always hesitant to believe that you can make any amount of money selling pay-per-views to a fight, because I just know that like I buy UFCs occasionally. I bought a bunch of them. I've probably spent $1,000 buying UFCs events. But I usually just stream them now, and everyone I know streams them, steals them, you could say. I saw Khabib Nurmagomedov, former lightweight champion, maybe the top 3 or 4 biggest name ever in the UFC, and he's like, I have a link for you. I have streamed. Never buy. Like you kind of feel like a dummy buying, and that's as big as it gets in combat sports for me. Like maybe for other people, like Canelo versus so and so, or some big heavyweight contest is the biggest in combat sports pay-per-view to them. But for me, I don't know, a Conor McGregor fight is as big as it gets. And and most people won't give you money for that. So the idea that you're going to give your money to watch Wings of Redemption fight Boogie, and that there's going to be enough people who put that money in, that even when we split it like 3 or 4 ways, each of us has been paid so well that it was worth traveling to another continent and doing combat. That's just a make-believe type scenario to me. You would need the audience to be 10 times bigger than it is.
Well, no, the point of it is that if they're paying, it can be 100 times smaller. So it's, we're in the eyeball selling business, right? So the more people that we can get to watch something, the more that we can command from your entirely legitimate realm of sponsors. And so,
they're real people.
Yeah. So it's
their products.
But it's that's it.
If you buy it, they'll ship it.
It really shows up at your door. I trust that. Not enough to test it, I'll be honest, but I'm sure.
Oh, look at you fucked up.
The comp pills work. I have video evidence.
Oh, all these things work. The comp pills work, and that Bluetooth will get your dick so hard, it'll be like your best day.
Oh wow!
I'm smoking the drugs now.
So I mean, I've never done a pay-per-view thing. The only real example of that in the automotive world is Cletus McFarland does a thing called the Freedom 500, which they, it's a Crown Vic race at a racetrack that he's bought. But I think that there's a wonderful attitude in it of, as you get an audience, you try to step up the game somehow, right? Like, what is the next craziest thing that we could do? And if it's boxing a real boxer when you're Logan or Jake Paul or whatever, maybe it is a path to making $1 million or $10 million, whatever they.
When you're that big, it absolutely is.
Kyle always reminds me, and he's right. When it's boxing, not MMA, but boxing, 9 times out of 10, maybe more, it's boring. It doesn't live up to the hype. And somehow, by the time the next hype train rolls around, I forget that. Wings versus Boogie is going to, like, these men aren't built to inflict damage. So if you're going there hoping for a knockout, that's not what it's going to be.
Unless they're fighting their own arteries.
It's going to be a fall down. One guy's going to, I know, if it happens, Boogie will fall and get hurt, and it will be over within the first 3 minutes. That's what will happen.
What might happen?
And then they will evacuate.
We were talking about our biggest fears.
Threat.
I think it might have been in the $50 hangout, but my big thing was, I don't want to look cowardly on camera. Like, I can lose. I don't care if I lose.
Sure.
I think I'm close enough to looking good with my shirt off that I'll accomplish that on game day.
For sure.
So I'll look good for my age, and I'll go in there and I'll fight. But God, my biggest fear is that they walk away being like, Woody was scared, or like, Woody quit, right? Oh my God, I wouldn't want to quit. What if I find myself like, it's not my day. This guy's just getting the best of me. This isn't going to get better, right? This is only going to go worse for me. What's my decision? Because it better fucking be, but I'm going to give it my all. If it's not, then I'm embarrassed for the rest of my life. That's my fear.
That would be mine too. I don't want to fight someone. Like, that sounds shitty. That sounds like I don't want to be hurt, and I also don't want to hurt someone else.
I told you I had a reoccurring nightmare. I had a reoccurring nightmare where Kitty had agreed to have me fight someone and signed everything, and it was all,
I love this.
and I was only being notified like
As the
late
gladiator.
notice. It's like, hey, just so you know, you got like 32 days to prepare to battle a man in the ring, you know. And it's like, oh, there's so many things I need to do.
You're stressed.
It was a nightmare that I would have. The most reoccurring nightmare I had though was when I was on probation and or parole or whatever. Probation. Like dreaming that I would accidentally do drugs. I would have nightmares where I accidentally did drugs and I was like, oh no, I'm gonna fail my drug test now. I'm going back to jail. And I would wake up and I'd be like, you didn't do drugs in your dreams, right? Fuck, I don't know. Did I? I had a dream that a guy like ran up to me and like smeared some like Vaseline like substance like on my neck right here, and I was like, "What the fuck? What the fuck did you just do? What the fuck is this shit?" And he's like, "It's drugs." and he just ran away, like literally like twiddling his mustache, and I'm like, hey, "What did he give me?" And they're like, "I don't know. It's some kind of weird Vaseline acid. You're gonna be fucked up." And I'm like, "Oh no, no!" It was just all about not wanting to go back to fucking prison.
Valid concern. Worth making some
What makes you test
change.
positive for drugs? Like, I know poppy seeds can do it. Is
That's
there
right.
more?
If you eat a lot of them, that's
I think it's a lot. It's an awkward amount.
like 2
Elaine
muffins
did
a day every day, and you're gonna pop. I know.
I had
someone-
that fear. I got tested for a job once.
Never had poppy seed muffins, nor do I know why. Like that would be someone's go-to muffin. That's like
They can be on an everything bagel. And
God, you'd have to eat so many.
Everything bagels are great.
Yeah, I don't think you could get it from an everything bagel because there's, it's everything.
You'd have to be a
There's
real
little
fan.
poppy
It's
seed.
diluted by all the other things.
Yeah, all the other things.
that's how it
Well,
works.
there's not as
Being
much.
diluted by the garlic salt. and the
It's not
onion
diluted. It's just
powder.
replaced by it. Like you just can't get enough toppings on there. It's not like they put the normal amount of poppy seeds on there, then the normal amount of everything else, and then that'd be like a big sandwich or something. You're talking
No,
crazy.
it's not
now.
that measured. They're taking a big handful and everything. Everything in the mix.
I thought they pushed it against it. I don't know how these things are made.
I think they lick them, and then they
Okay.
twist them down into a pile of each ingredient, and then they repeat that process to each.
That makes sense. I have a question for Ed.
Well,
Yeah.
yes.
Ed, it seems like racetracks go out of business all the time. Yet these are
for sure.
cruddy things with like decaying asphalt, and they're not that sophisticated. Why can't racetracks make money? They charge a lot of money for the people who use them, and like, how do they lose money?
They're not that expensive to rent. So even like, how much do you think it costs to rent a NASCAR track?
Oh shucks, a NASCAR track for how long?
12 hours.
Whoa,
$16,000.
16,000. Sure.
16.
Oh, that's closer. On an off-peak time or weekday, 10 grand. And so, when you think about racetracks were built in the middle of nowhere, and sometimes civilization came. And when civilization knocks at your door, first of all, they hate the noise. Second of all, they offer you a tremendous amount of money to buy very flat property. And so a lot of times they go out of business because the opportunity cost of the land use case is radically different. They also do get a lot of sanctions. And so it doesn't take that many people to vote against a single property owner to shut them down on Sundays or to, make sure they can't have their lights on at certain hours. They have to meet decibel limits and things like that. So there are some political issues that make it hard. But in reality, it's just not a great revenue per acre premise when you think about the risk and everything involved.
I don't live near there anymore, but I used to live recently. I lived near the racetrack here in Atlanta, and what are they building there? Was that a casino? Like they were building like a ton of shit around the Atlanta Motor Speedway out there. That's an area that's like nothing is there except for the racetrack.
Correct. Yeah. Well, Atlanta, nothing developed south of I-20. And so, things are catching up to Atlanta Motorsports Park in Dawsonville and Road Atlanta and Brazelton, certainly. But those are established at this point. The other problem is that the lifespan of roads is reasonably short. And so when they have, a lot of times they can never generate enough revenue to rebuild it when it gets destroyed. So you have a lot of racetracks that are in terrible disrepair and they need absolute millions in rehabilitation. And that's just a bridge too far. So, there's a lot of tracks where that happens. And then sometimes, YouTubers will come in and buy them. I mean, that's happened many times, especially with drag strips and stuff like that they're not gigantic tracts of land. So it can come in and sort of be the saving grace. But you're right that it is it's when it's not an international motorsport level track. I mean, nobody's going to go buy Paul Ricard, but it's certainly, Atlanta Motor Speedway or Road Atlanta, a few bad years could go really, really badly. And they sell all the time. So Road Atlanta just sold to Michelin.
Yeah. I don't know. That place, last time I drove past, I think I don't know what they were building, but I thought it was a casino. I think someone told me that you could gamble there, which I'm always surprised when you tell me there's a place you can gamble that's just in a normal state, not Atlantic City or Vegas. There's so many excuses and reasons that we find to allow gambling. The riverboat gambling thing is so absurd.
Those boats don't float. I think. I don't know.
No,
they are totally attached in every way to.
Are they touching the ground? They don't float, right?
They've got to put pilings under them. I mean, imagine I have no idea, but I don't know what makes it legal.
I'm processing it now, but the water level goes up and down, right? So,
well, we've seen what's the TV show that we like?
Rivers are not tidal, but rain would have a massive impact depending on.
I was thinking of, for example, what the fuck is the giant river in the middle of the country that Taylor lives near?
The Mississippi.
Thank you. Yeah, people don't know that one. The Mississippi just dropped by 20 feet last year. It's probably higher now.
Yeah, so it'd be real suspicious if that happens and your boat's sticking out on its poles. Yeah.
Taylor, is that fixed? The Mississippi River? Do we have water in it now? We had all that rain.
I believe it or not, it's not one of my daily hangouts. I don't go to the Mississippi.
You're 15 miles from it.
It's not too far, but no, we've got a shit ton of rain in the last month, so I would imagine it's back to normal. Yeah. Probably.
I'm so sick and tired.
I did not hear about a casino next to any of the. I mean, George had some experimentation with different types of video poker and stuff like that, but nothing really stuck. Their arcade things are popping up all over Florida now. That are strip malls have a thing arcade, and it's just old people in wheelchairs, feeding. They have to convert to points or something like that.
Are they playing pinball or video poker?
I don't know. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's all skee ball. It's 100%.
On the Mississippi, because of some law, there are gambling boats, casino boats that have those big paddles on the back of them, and they never leave from where they are. They just sit down there in the Mississippi, and apparently being there allows them to do additional gambling. I don't know how that works, but it is funny to see the river. There's no rules on the river.
All right, we talked about this before. It's like those people who claim to be boat captains navigating the road of life or whatever.
Yeah,
they're close enough to actually being a water vessel that they can make that claim. I think they're just skirting the law there.
It's got
to get married on a riverboat sitting on pilings.
What's the show we like? What's the show we like with Marty?
Actually,
Bird?
You see one in Ozark. Yeah, you see the riverboat casino on the Mississippi.
But they bought a non-running. That boat doesn't run. The boat got towed into its spot and became the casino there.
Yeah.
So.
But they let the last part, that big paddle. Sometimes they don't attach that up, so it slowly turns. Looks like a real boat.
What are the drug laws like on Indian casinos? Because can't they just go hog wild?
Anything you want.
That's pretty sweet. Wait, in the casinos, you can do any drugs?
No. Like on Indian reservations, I should say. I think,
but that's what they are. That's where the casinos are.
Yes, it's same. There's no difference in the laws, but I don't think federal drug laws are enforceable on Indian reservations. Are they?
Was Boogie's medicine man?
I don't know what you're supposed to call
on a reservation
native lands.
Yeah. I didn't want to ask, but I don't look, I don't know of any reservations, and I think he's in like Arkansas or some shit, like down there in that area of states that you forget about. At least one of them, if you tried to name all four, like he'd leave one
There's
out.
four?
Like,
What are the four?
like between me and
those four
Texas,
states.
there's a whole slew of worthless states.
No, those
You
are
know, the
good ones. I
Mississippi
know
and
those
Alabama
ones.
aren't
Right,
the same
right.
thing.
Just states that occupy 40
Arkansas
something
is
in
here, too?
education. Yeah, you know, they
Do not
finished
speed in
45th,
Arkansas.
47th, and 49th in education in America.
Yeah, I've driven through there multiple times, and I still always forget about one of those worthless.
Taylor,
ass states.
what's up with your state? They just defunded all the libraries?
I don't fucking know, but we got all the guns and all the weed, and so Missouri rocks.
Missouri.
Okay.
There you go.
Missouri rules, top tier state. We got all the freedom. Colorado's looking at us going, you have all the same weed as us, and you have all the guns. We don't have any guns. And we're going, that sucks, Colorado losers. Don't move here. Don't move here. We're full. If anybody's out there looking, other than Kyle, Kyle's welcome because he's my friend. No one else. There's no other room at the inn. We don't want to become one of those states where a bunch of people move here.
Taylor's an anchor baby for Missourians.
Yeah.
I'm legitimately considering Missouri as a
Missouri
place to
rocks.
move, because it does have those awesome weed laws and gun laws as well. Not that those
Snow.
necessarily
You like snow?
snow. I love snow. Like
You got a
man,
hell of a lot
like,
more snow than you get there.
growing up here in Georgia, snow is like, you don't think of it as that like inconvenience or that thing that like ruins your morning or whatever. You don't think of dirty piss snow either. You don't think of that muddy snow that's days after.
It
that's
doesn't stick
disgusting.
around.
Mhm.
You just picture that white fluffy shit that you never get to enjoy. That's in all of the Christmas movies. And you're like white Christmas. I mean, it's cold in the morning sometimes. It gets a little frosty
It's
out.
cold in the
Like,
morning sometimes.
you know, like
I'm
you,
familiar with Frost in the Grass Christmas.
yeah,
That's right.
exactly. That's how like Christmas
Dreaming of a
morning. You
chilly
look
Christmas.
outside. It's just like a gray, nasty, wet day.
Dreaming of a chilly Christmas, one which involves my fall coat.
Georgia
With
Christmas.
a light sweater in the morning.
A Georgia Christmas is usually like an overcast, chilly day, and it's probably rainy. It's not a
That's
good
a lot of
time.
rain.
So the idea of living somewhere where like you might get inches, not like 2 or 3, but like 8 or 10 inches of fucking
Yeah.
snow. Like if
We got a foot earlier this year.
it's like you'll need a special shovel for it. Oh my god! Like,
Yeah.
like I
Oh.
love that. The idea of making a snow fort was so cool to me. You should, if you saw my snowmen growing up. Oh,
They have
those poverty snowmen that we rolled together.
Snowballs stacked
That-
on top
they
of
would
each
have
other.
That red Georgia clay would inevitably get like mixed in, and he'd be all like rusty brown.
some shitty, ruddy looking.
Twigs sticking out of everywhere.
Yeah,
Oh,
you have to
man.
use more mud and twigs.
It's,
to give
it's
it
half
structural
pine
integrity.
straw.
Two
Yeah.
pieces of charcoal and an old carrot, and
there's Kyle's
That is
snowman.
100% it. Yeah.
that
you-
looks like an aborted snow fetus.
Yeah,
I've never built a snowman large enough that one person couldn't relocate it.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
Oh,
Really?
absolutely.
I have done
Yeah.
that.
I grew up
Yeah.
in New Jersey. We would build human-sized snowmen.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
you build
yeah.
huge ones, and then as time passes and all the other snow melts, you have this reprehensible, ugly-looking used to be a snowman in your front yard that your dad gets mad at
What
you
would
for.
happen is-
Oh,
so-
memories.
If you roll a snowball along the ground, it doesn't really pack. So you have to kind of like smush it into the ground to add some weight to it. And then you reach a critical mass where the snowball itself has enough weight to gather more snow. It is easy to overdo it. And you build a base that's ginormous. The second one needs to be slightly smaller, but also ginormous. And now you need like 4 children to lift it onto the pedestal that is the first one. And it's fun though.
All right, guys, we're doing a 2-orb snowman. We miscalculated.
Yeah, no experience with that. My snowmen were lame. That when we went to Killington, I think that was the first time I'd seen real deal snow like that. Now I'd been to Colorado and I'd been to Chicago, so I had seen some snow, but it was like nothing crazier than what I'd already seen in like the craziest nights in Georgia. There's been like 2 times in my 35, 37 years or whatever where it snowed. And it was like real. It was like, oh, look at that. That's like 4 inches. Wow. I ain't gonna mace you. I ain't gonna tase you. I'm gonna give you these hands, son.